Welcome to Speakernomics, the official podcast of the National Speakers Association. I'm Kenneth Kinney, but friends call me Shark. And like you, I'm a professional speaker and I love listening to Speakernomics. Speakernomics is the professional speaker show that will help you thrive and grow a speaking business so you too can change the world. One keynote, session, workshop, and speech at a time. And on this episode, we welcome Dr. Willie Jolley. He's a Hall of Fame speaker, a CSP, a Cavett Award recipient, best-selling author. He's been named one of the outstanding 5 speakers in the world and motivational and inspirational speaker of the year by Toastmasters International. He's been heard on his #1 rated The Willie Jolley Wealthy Ways show on SiriusXM channel 141, as well as many TV and media appearances. Oh, and he received a tiny little award called the Presidential Lifetime Achievement Award by President Biden. Dr. Jolley, I'm about to run out of show with all your accolades and achievements. Welcome to Speakernomics. How are you today?
I'm awesome. And if I don't start this way, people will say, what's wrong with him? I have only just a minute, only 60 seconds in it. Forced upon me, can't refuse it. Didn't seek it, did not choose it, but it's up to me to use it. I must suffer if I lose it, give account if I abuse it. Just a tiny little minute, but our eternities are wrapped up in it. I'm grateful for this minute, this moment, this opportunity to be with you, Kenneth Shark Kinney, and I'm honored to be on Speakernomics one more time. And let me say, I thank you for saying Dr. Jolley, but everybody at NSA, they just call me Willie. So just call me Willie, please.
You got it, Willie. Now, to all my speaking friends, this industry has changed so much over the years. It's a tough and lonely and isolating business, but we're so busy transforming organizations and associations that we sometimes forget that we have to transform ourselves and stay motivated in this business. Trust us in that it will change a lot more before we all get through. And we're talking to one of the most motivational experts on the planet to help us get through that. And before we jump in, make sure to go to speakernomics.com. That's where you can find the tips, insights, and knowledge to help you become a better speaker, build a better business, and get paid to speak. Willie, let's dive in. And before we jump into the important air quotes questions, I want to know, because I've heard you sing several times on stage, what is your favorite song to sing?
Oh, wow. Wow. That's a great,
really tough questions.
Yeah, it is actually a tough question, but my actual favorite song to sing is Sunny. Thank you for the sunshine in my life. Oh, Sunny. For the things you made so right. Oh, the dark days are gone and the bright days are here. My sunny love is just so sincere. Sunny one so true. I love you. Now that's my favorite song to sing because that was the song I sang every night when I was a nightclub singer at the end of my show, and people would really just flock to my venues to hear me sing Sunny because it was a uplifting and rousing and just entertaining and just fun song to sing as well as to be a part of. And I'd get the audience involved, and it was a lot of audience participation. So that's my favorite song to sing. Now, when I speak, I think that I have 2 that I bounce back and forth from: The Impossible Dream and This Is the Moment. Those 2 are the ones that I will usually close my speeches with. And I like them both. They both move me. But my favorite, Sunny.
Well, at the end of the show, I will favor everyone with a song. It's a rendition of Row, Row, Row Your Boat. It doesn't sound like Teddy swims. It sounds more like Teddy drowns. So, Willie, the first question I want to ask you, though, you've had such a successful career, but what has been your secret weapon, if you will, with your marketing? So many people get lost in this concept of marketing themselves as a speaker, but how does someone like you achieve that level with a great speech and supercharge their marketing? There's a lot of great speakers out there with great speeches as well.
Yes. You know, the answer to that is something I learned when I was a brand new speaker. In fact, I use it often. And in fact, last night I was at an event in Washington, D.C., where I live, and a gentleman came up to me and said, Dr. Jolley, I will never forget when you said this And when you said it, it changed my life and changed my business. And it's the same thing I say to myself, TTP, talk to people, talk to people, TTP. When I started speaking, I had a 6-foot rule. If they were 6 feet of me, I was going to talk to them. And I was going to somehow tell them about what I do. And so over the years, I've maintained that talk to people, TTP. When you finish TTP, then you TTMP, talk to more people, get online, use telephones, use all the technology you have, reach out to people, say hello, communicate with people, touch them with your words, your presence, and figure out how you can continue to be top of mind. As you know, and I both of us know, and everybody who's listening know, people are overwhelmed with stuff coming at them. I mean, they got stuff coming at them all day long, emails and text messages and calls and television and commercials and this stuff. So it can be overwhelming, and you want your message to be memorable. So you've got to find ways to TTMP, talk to more people, and make sure that when they have a need, they think of you. So whether it's a business card or a note or a mug or something with your name and your program on it, a calendar, we send out calendars every year to all of our clients that we want them to put them up because we know that they will see my picture. They'll see me every day and remember me. So we've got lots of things that we use to tell people. We got bookmarkers. We got very unique business cards that many people say, I keep your card on my desk to motivate me because it's a picture that's very high energy of me. And people say, I look at it every day when I go into the office, just say, let's go get them. Let's make it happen. Anything I can find that will remind them that I'm still here. That's what I want them to do. So when they need me, they can call me, or when they need my books or resources, or when they need a good radio show, they can listen to me. So I want them to remember me and I want to be top of mind. So that's what I say to everybody. TTP, talk to people, then TTMP, talk to more people in more ways.
That's such a good answer. And that goes as much, you said, new speaker. The person that asked me this question has been speaking over 25 years. And it's a great reminder that even people that are successful speakers need to continue to talk to people and then talk to more people. So
absolutely. Absolutely. When you stop doing it, you're going to become irrelevant. You're going to be somebody who is forgotten. And so I don't want to be irrelevant or forgotten. So I got to keep pushing. And then I got to keep changing. Okay. I got to keep evolving. I started as a youth speaker in the education market. And I did that for the first 5-6 years of my speaking. And I only spoke to schools. And so I evolved from schools to colleges. And then I grew and evolved from colleges to small companies, credit unions. And then I just kept evolving and evolving and evolving. And I'm constantly evolving. I believe I'm in a new evolution now as we take my message to more media outlets in new ways. I'm on TikTok. I'm on Instagram. I'm on LinkedIn. We're sending out YouTube and Facebook live messages every day. We're getting out more content. We're looking for new ways to reach people with my message. Music, motivational snippets on radio, long form radio with XM, a podcast. Every which way I can think to reach people, I'm trying it and putting it out. So I'm constantly putting out more and more content. And I'm still doing some of the things I did when I first started. Getting on the phone, talking to people, now back when I started, there was no such thing as email, but I'm emailing people. I'm touching base with people. I'm pitching people. I'm constantly thinking of new ways I can get my message to more people. And I'm trying stuff. And some of it works and some of it doesn't, but I keep trying.
Where do you receive most of your business today as opposed to 10, 20, or 30 years ago?
Oh, yeah, it's quite different now. Most of my revenues come from media now. And by media, I mean my radio shows and my television programs. But in terms of speaking, most of my business comes from people who are reaching out to me in certain industries and insurance and financial services. Spoke for $1 Million Roundtable that had a great impact on people knowing about me in the financial industry, real estate, healthcare, still education, network marketing. Those people who have read my books. So we are still working in many industries, but nowhere near like we used to. I was speaking 200 times, 250 times a year back then when I first got started. And so a lot less, and COVID had an impact on that because up until COVID, I was on the Get Motivated tour. I replaced Zig Ziglar when he died. So for a number of years, it was me and Les Brown and Damon John and others who were going city to city in these big arenas. And I would open every show in the morning where Zig used to be the opening. I replaced him. And so that was a full schedule. I mean, I had a packed schedule. And then often I would have maybe a Sunday where I would speak at a church in that city, wherever I was going to be going. And they'd hear about me and say, can you stay and speak? So it was constant, going city to city every week, 2 cities a week. But now it's less of the travel and then virtual. I tell you the truth. I will often now ask people, would you like a virtual presentation? And they'll call and we're talking. I say, it might be in Australia or Dubai now I love going to Dubai. I love going to Australia, but sometimes it's just not convenient. Now I might have the date available. I might have the travel time available. But if I can't stay in Australia a week or 2 weeks, going for one event it's hard on my body. Okay. And so I'll say, hey, look, why don't we do a deal? Let me do the event virtually. I'm really good virtually. And that saves my body that 24-hour in the air time, getting there, the time change, to all of that, and then trying to get back. Or Asia, the same. So I'll tell people, would you be interested? I'll give you a better deal. Now, if they still want me to come, I'll work it out, or if I want to do it or not. But I'm still looking for ways that I can reach more people. And then I also have to have a quality of life. Very important, because the older I get, the harder it gets to recover from tough travel schedules. And so now I don't do red eyes anymore. I used to do a red eye from the West Coast to the East Coast, do that red eye, get into Washington, D.C. about 6 a.m., go home, have a quick meal, brush my teeth, take a shower, and then I go on to another speech. I cannot do that anymore. I physically cannot do that anymore. When I do a red eye, it really does mess me up for a few days, so it takes me a while to get back acclimated. So there's certain things I say, what? I just can't do that anymore. That's not going to work for my physicality. But other than that, I'm still speaking, just nowhere near the same level of intensity and number of events that I did years ago. And I was a lot younger. I had a lot more energy, a lot more, and I didn't have radio shows that I had to have every week coming out. I didn't have to have the TV shows that we're doing. My wife and I do a weekly marriage show every Monday night on Facebook Live, Instagram Live, and Facebook Live, and LinkedIn Live. And so we got that every Monday night. We got the TV, we got the radio on Sirius XM, which goes to podcasts. I got a daily syndicated 1 minute segment that is in 49 markets every day on the Radio One network. So I didn't have all those then. So speaking was all in all. And then I'd have books that I was constantly writing. I got 3 books in the cooker right now that I'm almost finished all 3 of them, and we're going to be putting them out soon. So we got a lot going on. And so, but the speaking is just a part of my operation now. It's a part of my.
Well, like you, I've done a lot of international speaking, and I don't think you learn it until you learn the hard way what it's like to take a 26-hour flight with all the travel and layovers and then get somewhere and think you're going to wake up with the right frame of mind to go speak to an audience. it doesn't, you just don't wake up at 5 or 6 or 7 a.m. and pop out of bed ready. You're trying to figure out what day of the week it is once you get there. It will wear on your body and your mind
It will
quick.
wear on you. Now, it was fun for a while when I went to Japan and went to
Sure.
Malaysia, and it was fun for a while, but my body, it just, would just be so difficult the older I get. When I was younger, I could handle it better. So I want to encourage, here's what I'm encouraging my young speakers. Do it. Get that experience. Try it. Enjoy it. And then know there's a time when you must make the decision for your quality of life, and be willing to make that decision at that time, at that appropriate time, for your family, for yourself, for your health. Then you make it, but while you're young, go forward, have fun, go. I want to encourage as many young speakers. I got my mentees who I say, hey, go do it and be great, wow them, and just, get the most out of this. Go while you can, because one day you won't be able to.
Well, for many of us, we've thought about momentum and how quickly to build it or rebuild it, or for successful speakers, even sustain it. I've had my own, if I could do it all over, conversations in my head many times. But with all you've learned in your illustrious career, what would you do if you had to start it all over again today?
Oh, wow. That's a great question, because as I said, we didn't have an internet. We didn't have social media. We didn't have any of that when I started. All I had was a phone book, a touch tone phone, and a legal pad, no computer. Okay. What would I do now if I was starting? I would use social media. I would use the internet. I would make myself famous via the internet. I would be putting out content in mass numbers. It'd be my job every day to make content and put it out and be compelling and be engaging and get eyes. That would be my job every day. That's what I would be tasked to do. And that's what I would recommend people do. Then I would use other media. I would use media if they had one thing to get my brand out and into the mind of people, is media, social, traditional, print, as many interviews as I could get. That's what I would be doing. I think that has the greatest impact on getting your messaging out. And of course, be good. Just be good. Now that sounds so easy, but it's hard to do because you've got to develop the skill sets to do that. You've got to develop the confidence to do that. And the only way to do it is by speaking more. The more speaking I did, the better I got. And it became a point where I was speaking so much that I was really honing in on the fine points of becoming a really captivating presenter. And that's when I started getting the ahas. Now I'm speaking, 100 times, 200 times a year. But it was after those latter times of 200 or 300 speeches behind me that I started saying, oh, if I just did this, the pauses, the emphasis, the way I stood, the way I moved, the little things made a big difference. But I didn't get there until I did a lot of speaking. Excuse me, until I did a lot of speaking. So I encourage people to speak. Speak whenever, wherever, for whatever you can, as much as you can, because you'll get better. And that's the goal, is to continue to get better.
Well, obviously, a lot of your own story as well has to do with the success you've had off the stage in your life with being married for nearly 40 years. This is a tough business, and a lot of folks, well, their marriages often struggle. And when I first met you, I was actually shooting the bull with Ross Bernstein, and we were talking about how to make sure that we maintain that great balance with a great marriage. I've been married more than a couple of decades now. I think he's north of, or right at 3 decades as well. But what advice would you give then to someone to help them keep focus on their family? And I don't necessarily even mean maintain a great marriage. There are a lot of happy single speakers out there, but I mean focus on family when you're on the road a lot as a speaker in a lonely business, and sometimes people lose focus.
Yes, a couple things. One, I tell every new speaker, particularly when they're starting to get some notoriety and starting to get a little hot in the marketplace and their name is becoming popular. I say, remember this, never forget this. In life, you're going to juggle a lot of balls. You're going to become a juggler. And you're going to juggle a lot of balls. You got your speaking business, you got your family, you got your communication with your community, you've got your extended family, you've got your church, maybe, you've got your PTA, you got all of these things, you got your friends who you grew up with, you got a lot of balls you're juggling. Now, they're all important, yes, but all of them are rubber except one. Your family. That ball's glass. It's crystal. If you drop the speaking ball or the books ball or the community ball, they'll bounce and you can pick them up. If you drop that family ball and it shatters, very hard to put it back together. So focus on the family ball. Keep your eye on that one. Make that your priority. And what I just decided, Kenneth, is when I started, I was going to prioritize God first, family second, career third, friends fourth, and everything after that would be fifth. And I don't get them out of order. I don't get them twisted. God first, family second, my career third, my friends fourth, and everything else after that. And I really have changed that over the years. That is God first, health second. I really put health right up there. I always say if health is not in your top two, number three don't really make a difference because you're sick. You can't take care of your family. You can't take care of your business. So focus on your health. I'm very focused on my health, very focused on my health, very focused on my health. And so I make it a point to work out daily. I make it a point to watch what I'm eating, what I'm drinking. I'm making a point to be very health conscious and mindful of health, because if you lose it, it's hard to regain it. I think it's the Dalai Lama said he was amazed at all the people who work to become rich. And in the process, they lose their health. Then they got to take all that money they made getting rich to try and buy back their health. Don't do that. Focus on your health now. Make it a priority. Focus on your family. Make them a priority. And then put business and speaking and books and all the other things. But family is critically important. And you're right. My wife and I are going on 40 years. Haven't had an argument in over 38 years. Learned some principles from some wise mentors that helped us get from where we were arguing and disagreeing to not arguing by using principles that worked. And those principles have helped so many marriages. And we've had a lot of speakers whose marriages have been influenced, impacted, enhanced. So I encourage everybody to go see our TED Talk. Go see our TED Talk. It's free at jollymarriage.com. How we never argue. We don't always disagree. We don't always agree, but we don't argue. And we have a drama-free zone house. There's no drama in the house. We don't have drama. So that's a good thing, and we enjoy it, and our marriage is great, and I'm grateful. But go see how we did it. So if you go to jollymarriage.com, just watch TED Talk.
You got it.
I highly recommend Matt Bauer to be your videographer. And if you are a professional speaker, he knows exactly what you need.
I highly recommend Matt Bauer for your next event. Incredible to work with, professional, reliable, and flexible at the same time.
My name is Mary Kelly, and I hate video, and that's why I need Matt Bauer. He's going to make you look good, sound good, help you get booked, increase your speaker fees, and help you tell the story that you want to convey to the people who need to hear it.
For more information, go to speakervideo.com.
Before we jump back to the show, here's a moment from the halls at NSA's conference Influence with NSA member, speaker, and consultant Gina Carr.
All right, Gina, what does being part of NSA mean to you and your speaking career and everything else?
Well, I often say that every good thing in my life has come from NSA. That includes the love of my life, Terry Brock, my business opportunities, my business model, everything that I've done. I've been part of NSA. This is my 19th Influence. So I've been around a long time, since 2005. And all my friends, not all my friends, but almost all my friends. Yeah. So friendships, business ideas, business models, community, absolutely fantastic education. And I don't know where I would be without NSA.
All right. Well, I want to ask you a question that comes from a previous guest.
Okay.
Willie, what are you doing for outreach and outbound marketing to make sure that your pipeline never dries
Making
up?
sales calls every day, sending out, I send out emails, of course, and LinkedIn messages, but I still send out physical pieces of material, physical, flyers, one sheets, postcards. We still send them out because they are so rare that now people will open the package. And I got a piece of nice promotional material there. When you need me, here I am. Let me know. Here's a book. I'm really pushing my books, particularly my Attitude of Excellence book to company, because that's one that people buy in volume. Marriott and Hyatt and Blue Cross Blue Shield, and they buy them for all their people. That's a good day when I get one of those orders, and 300, 500, 1,000 books at a time. And so we like that. So I'm pushing that book, and I send people emails about it and say, if you'd like to get some, we'll give them to you at a discount, and we'll help you grow your people and help them to serve better and to be more performance-based and productive. So I'm still doing many of the things I did before. Of course, we're using technology now. As I said, we put out a lot of content. I have an assistant. She puts out content every single day. I'm recording content. I'm sending it to her, and she's cutting it up and distributing it on all the platforms. And then we got, the radio, that we got a daily show every day now, every day in the week. My messaging is heard somewhere on radio or television or online every day.
It's amazing that with the right amount of, just a little bit of outreach and the right amount of content with the right message, it's just such a pleasure to hear somebody at your level still continue to do that. And I wish more people would do it. It helped them a lot earlier.
Yeah, look, I don't forget the bridge that brought me across. Okay. And that's the bridge that brought me across. Just being a persistent guy. I'm a persistent guy. I'm just persistence. I'm very persistent. The reason my wife is here, married to me, is because I was persistent. She turned me down when I asked her to marry me. Like 100 times I asked her, and she said no. So I was just persistent, and I refused to give up because I said she's the one, and I was right. And I just had to persist because she had been married before. It hadn't gone well. She said she was never going to get married again. I was younger than her, and I had never been married, had never lived outside my mom's home. She said, nah, this ain't gonna work. And so she was like, We can be, friends, we can date, but nah, marriage is. And I said, no, we supposed to get married, but I had to keep working. I had to persist. I had to keep trying. I had to keep selling her. We in sales. I'm selling. ABC, always be closing. All right. ABC, I'm always closing, trying to close a sale. So finally, I was able to close the sale 39 years ago, and she says to this day, best decision she ever made. I'm grateful for that. So I'm grateful. Look, I keep working. I keep sharing. I keep trying to touch people, trying to inspire people, trying to encourage them. People need it so bad. And I'm grateful for the impact that I've been blessed to learn about. That's where the blessing comes. I'll give you a story. Some years ago now, before the pandemic, I was going to speak in Japan for the U.S. Marines. It was a high security time, so all the security around the bases was very tight. So our group of people who had gone over to Japan with me, were going through the security checkpoint to get on the base where I would be speaking. And the first few went by, no problem. Then the next one, no problem. Next and the next one. And again, I was last. I was going through last. And when I put my passport through, I was waiting for everyone to say, you can go through. But then the phone rang. And the guard said, huh? Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Said, Mr. Jolley, we need to see you in the back. What? You need a what? What's wrong with my passport? Sir, we just need to see you in the back. Two big guards came with AK-47s and helmets and said, we need to escort you to the back, sir. And I'm scared. What did I do? What's going on? We go down this long corridor, get to what is the commandant's office. We go in the big leather chairs facing the window as I walk in. And the chair turns around, and it's a fairly young man sitting in the chair. He says, sir, I see all of the passports as they go by. I just glance at them. And I saw yours. It said William Jolley. Would you be the William Jolley who goes by the name Willie Jolley from Washington, D.C.? I see Washington, D.C. I said, yeah, I go by Willie Jolley. Would you be the Willie Jolley who's a motivational speaker? I said, yes. Would you be the Willie Jolley who came to Archbishop Carroll High School in 1993 and spoke to the students? I said, yes, I was. I remember that. He said, sir, I was in that class. I was in the 11th grade. I was messing up. I was in a gang. I was using drugs. I was making poor choices. But that day you spoke about dream busters. Don't let the dream busters get you. And I'm making a wise choices to stay away from drugs and alcohol and negative people and pursue academic excellence. And somewhere in that message that day, you changed. You changed me. I went home and I told my mom, I said, Mom, I'm changed. I'm going to change. I'm going to change. And I did. I pulled my grades up that year. And next year, I was the top of my class and got a scholarship to West Point. And as a result of that, I got a commissioned officer position. And that's why I'm here today. I never thought I'd get a chance to say thank you. Thank you, Mr. Jolley. Thank you. And then he blew my mind. He took out a little piece of paper that was laminated. And on that little laminated piece of paper were the notes he took that day. Stay away from drugs. Stay away from negative people. Pursue academic excellence. Make wise choices. He said, I keep it with me to remind me. I never thought I'd ever meet you. Thank you. Wow. That's why I do this. You know, that's why I do this. And this is 30 plus years into this process. And I'm still trying to figure out how I can reach more young people, how I can get my message to more people, how I can inspire more people. I think about Cavett Robert. I'm honored to be the Cavett recipient for 2023. Cavett said, service is the rent we pay for our space on this earth. Muhammad Ali also used that quote. Service is the rent we pay for our space on this earth. And so I want to continue to serve, continue to try and impact people as long as I can, as far as I can, as many ways as I can. But never lose fact or focus on that it has to stay in the priority of God first, family second, and business third.
Outstanding. So, Dr. Jolley, what is a question that you would like to ask a future guest on this show?
Yeah, I'd like to ask and say, I think we have a guest. You mentioned a couple of folks who might be potentially. I'd like to ask them a question that I ask people on my XM show. At the end of every XM show, I ask the same question to every guest. And I've had A-listers unbelievable on my XM show, which then goes to my podcast. It's called the Willie Jolley Wealthy Ways Show and Podcast. And you can get it, the podcast, online, any of your platforms. I've had General Colin Powell, Bill Marriott, John Maxwell, Gladys Knight. I've had Les Brown, Damon John, Mark Randolph, co-founder of Netflix. I've had some of the sharks from Shark Tank. I've had A-listers, David Rubenstein, billionaires. I always ask them the question. If you were coming to Washington, D.C., and I came to hear you, and then we went to lunch, then I took you over to Howard University, or my alma mater, American University, or Georgetown, or GW. And we went into a business class of young wannabe, I want to be a success. What would you tell them are some you gotta? What are 3 you gotta? If you're going to be successful in life and in business, here's some things you gotta do. What are some you gotta? That's what I would ask whoever you're going to share that question. What are your you gotta for success?
Fantastic. All right.
That's
well,
a new book, by the way. By the way, that's one of my new books coming out, the You Got Us for Success. So you'll see that soon. All of these great pieces that
I'm looking forward to reading it.
Recorded over 18 years of all of these A-listers, the You Got Us for Success.
Well, let's do a quick recap then, based on Willie's Hall of Fame advice. Number 1, TTP, talk to people. And then TTMP, talk to more people. When you stop, you can become irrelevant and forgotten. So start with TTP. Number 2, use the media as much as possible. It provides the greatest impact, if you're good, to get your message out there. A little bit of outreach and a little bit of content. Just put yourself out there and use the media to amplify that message. And number 3, in life, you're going to juggle a lot of balls. All of them are important, and they're all rubber, with exception of one. Your family is that crystal ball, and you cannot and should not break it. Focus on the family ball. Dr. Jolley, I know that I'm going to see you again at an NSA event, hopefully singing or on a stage somewhere soon, or listening to your show. Any last closing thoughts before we speak ourselves off this stage, at least?
You know, there's one piece that I give to every speaker program I've ever done. And so many people have said that was life changing for me as a speaker. As speakers, we want people to like us. That's a natural desire. We want the audience to like us. But what happens is we get so focused on trying to make them like us that if they don't, it can destroy your ego or your confidence. I tell people what changed my life was I learned to speak, not to impress, but speak to inspire. See, we all have butterflies, and the butterflies are flying all around. And yet, when you speak not to impress, but to inspire, the butterflies start to fly in formation. We're always going to have somebody in your audience who might not like you. In fact, my friend Les Brown says, if you got 10 people you're speaking to, 3 are going to like you because because the way you spoke. 3 are going to like you for what you said. 3 are going to like you because you just showed up, and 1's not going to like you no matter what you do or say or do or whatever. So don't focus on your energies on trying to make that 1 like you. They're not going to like you. Let it go. Focus on the 9 who are there, who are already in your camp. So don't focus on impressing them. Focus on inspiring them. And most times, when you inspire them, they will be impressed.
Outstanding. Friends, make sure to join us at Speakernomics.com and let your voice be heard. I'm Kenneth Kinney, your host of the National Speakers Association's podcast, Speakernomics, and this has been another amazing episode of the show. Thank you, Dr. Jolley, for your service to NSA and for lending your story to the show. And to everyone listening, thank you for the privilege of your time. And remember, Speakernomics is a podcast where you'll learn to speak, get paid, repeat.